what I learned after I quit the job is don't feel guilty over the things that I didn't finish. Focus more on what I have done.
You're listening to Investing for Good, a show that brings you the stories and strategies of people who are investing to build a legacy for their families, create a meaningful and intentional life by design, and impact the world around them. And now, here are your hosts, Annie Dickerson and Julie Lamb.
Hey, Julie, how's it going?
Hey, Annie, it's going good. How about you?
Great. In today's episode, we talk with Minna Hu, who's a mom of two and a real estate investor. Mm-hmm. And something in her story really reminded me of this past weekend. She said that she's teaching her kids her kids are young. They're 3 and 1.5, I think she said. And she's teaching them about the basics of money. Mm-hmm. And she said as soon as her older one gets old enough, she's going to have him start scanning things. And that's exactly what I did this weekend. I had my kids who are 7 and 3. I had them set up this mini workstation to scan all our tax documents. And so
is that a good idea?
I was managing them, don't worry. Okay. And I had it all laid out for them in different piles. And then I gave Eli, the younger one, I gave him a job. He was the one keeping everything, keeping all the piles separate, and he would put the papers down. And then I showed Kai, the older one, I showed him how to use the app to do the scanning. And, kids are so good with technology these days, and so he would check, and they were really meticulous about it too. They would check to make sure everything was really clear. And then at the end, I double checked everything. And then what was funny was at a certain point, Eli was like, I'm bored. I don't want to do this anymore. And I'm like, okay, you can quit. But then, then your money goes to Kai. And he was like, oh, no, I want to do it.
That's so funny. Yeah, I started having my kids do shredding, but I had to sit there and watch more carefully because of the finger issue. Right. But I had them doing that when they were probably 5 and 6 a couple of years ago now. But yeah, it's a good place to start. Probably scanning is probably the safer option, though.
Well, what I love about our conversation with Minna, I love so much about it, but she's a mom, and she also quit her job a couple of years ago to focus full time on real estate, which at the surface level, it sounds like a dream, right? It's like you get to quit your job and you stay home with the kids and you do this real estate investing stuff. But she really goes into, honestly, what it's like behind the scenes, and the fear and the guilt and the doubt behind it, and how she's overcome that.
Yeah, and I love her little hack that she shared that I won't say here. You'll have to listen through to the end, but that for me is going to be a game changer. So I'm definitely going to implement that into my daily routine. But yeah, she talks a lot about mindset and struggles and how she overcame all of that. And it was really nice to hear from another female real estate investor how she got over all of that and is now doing so much. So
yeah, such a powerful episode. Here it is, our conversation with Minna Hu. Minna, how are you?
Doing good. How are you?
Good. We're so glad to have you here.
Me too.
Minna, you are a mom to 2 toddlers, which is hard enough all on its own. And I'm sure any parents who are listening to this right now will know how crazy and unpredictable life with toddlers can be. But rather than put the brakes on investing and building toward financial freedom because of busy mom life, you chose to embrace it and work harder than ever to grow and manage the real estate portfolio that you and your husband, Cliff, have built. So I have to start there. How do you do it all? How do you have the time and the energy after picking up after the kids and folding yet another load of laundry to focus on real estate and financial freedom? So how do you do it?
So I think it's to choose what we focus on. Before I quit my job in 2018, my husband and I was just surviving because we worked full time. And then when my older son was born, we did 1 year. The first year we are working from home, take turns working from home and take care of Nick at the same time. It was a painful and dark time. And then after that, when our second son was born, we decided to say, hey, it's my time. And I think Minna can quit and then to focus on the business, because that gives more time, more flexibility to the family, like to Cliff and I as a team. And then Cliff can focus more on his work, and I can, take care of the daily operation for the business. Since that time, we hired a nanny. We used to have a cleaning lady, but she started to do laundry for us as well. We just keep, adding more people to the whole operation of the household. And so that Cliff and I can have more time to work on the business and then his full-time job. So, either we drop things that's not important for us, or we outsource it so that we have more focus on the business. But I think the other thing is really what I learned after I quit the job is don't feel guilty over the things that I didn't finish. Focus more on what I have done. And, don't dwell over a long to-do list, but also look back and say, hey, am I making progress? It's a mind battle, but we are not there yet. We are just started, but it's a journey to go through the whole thing.
Yeah, that's such a valuable lesson for anyone. I mean, is to not feel guilty about the things that you haven't yet done. Those are the opportunities that you have, but really to feel true fulfillment, as our mutual coach Trevor always says, always focus on the things that you have done and get fulfillment out of that, because success without fulfillment is nothing.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to ask this question, because I think that there's a lot of mothers out there who don't understand the why or the importance behind the decision that you made to leave your job. So can you talk to that a little bit? Like, what went into this decision to say, okay, I'm going to not work and I'm going to make this a priority, and we're going to figure this out, and we're going to outsource, nannies, housekeepers, and we're going to kind of invest a lot of your time into managing this portfolio. Why was that important for you?
For me, my husband and I both are, Cliff and I have a strong sense of family. And I think after the kids was born, we realized that's so much time you need to put in taking care of the kids, especially for the first year. We didn't think about hiring a nanny at all. We were doing it ourselves, and then the family are not around. My parents and his parents does come over for a little bit time to help us. But for me, I think it's the picture of having financial freedom, that reason becomes stronger after the kids was born. Because before it's just, him and me, and we have enough time to spend with each other, and sometimes I just want to, hey, leave me alone, I want some and
I know what you mean.
But after the kids was born, it's like we don't have time to even spend some time with myself, and we don't have time to relax. That's the picture become much more clear that, we want to use real estate investing and then the entrepreneurship to find ways to achieve that freedom, so that we can, even though right now we take more responsibilities and we need to spend more time into the business, but at the end is we create more time and more freedom in our daily. And I think Julie mentioned that live an intentional life. So our intention right now is to create that freedom so that we can have more time with the kids and have more freedom, live life at our own terms. I think that's the reason that we started all of this. And then since we have that, quitting the job, because my husband makes much more than me. We were both software engineer, but he is higher level. So he told me, he said, I think we can live without your income. But even that, we took about 3 months to make the decision from we think, I think that's the direction to go, to finally we made, I turn in the, the letter and say, hey, I'm resigning. It takes 3 months since the Nathan was born in June, and then September is what I told my employer that I want to quit. It's still a lot of, because I think the fear at that time is really strong that, I've been working since I graduated. And then I'm more worried about I isolate myself after I work for myself. And what if the business fail? And then what if I become really dreadful? And then just the van is all on cliff. So those fear really hold us back at that time until, but we know that we're like playing in two sandboxes, right? Like we can't focus on my work and I can't focus on the business either. So feel like I'm not all in both parts. And then we decided, let's just try, because worst case, I can still go back and find a job. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's a lot of my husband and my situation as well. Is he was like, it's like, well, he makes more than me. So, okay, he keeps working and I'll be the one to quit. But there was such a fear in me. Annie, I was so scared. And when I met Annie at a real estate conference 2 years ago, she was the one who gave me the confidence, because she had just left her job and she had 2 young kids at home. And gosh, at the time, I think your son, Eli, was like, what? He was like a year and a half, two?
Yeah.
It's like 2.5 years ago.
Year and a half.
Yeah. And I was like, if she can do this, like I can do this too, because my youngest is a year older than hers. And I was like so inspired by her commitment to doing that. And I think that there are so many fears that we have inside, just like you brought up, that especially as women in a male dominated space, that holds us back from committing to it and saying, no, like I'm going to do this, like hell or high water, this is going to happen, because you're so afraid of like making those mistakes, right? I hear that all the time when I talk with women investors is, I'm afraid I'm going to choose the wrong investment, or I'm afraid I'm going to make the wrong decision. And that weighs on us as women, right? Whereas men in entrepreneurship in the world of business, they're more open to just going out there and making mistakes. And that's how we succeed, is going out there and making mistakes. But men are like, I don't know, designed to do that. And women are just like, I cannot make a mistake, because if I make a mistake, I'm going to let my whole family down, my kids, my husband, and it's just all this fear. So I love that you brought that up, because I think it's important for other women to hear that you did face that fear, because I think too many women think, well, maybe she's just more confident than me, or maybe she's, smarter than me, or maybe, and then they just get this like feeling like, well, I couldn't do that, but Minna can, or Annie can, or Julie can, but I can't because I'm so scared. And I just want to emphasize that I was super scared too. And so I love that you brought that up, and that you found the confidence to get over that. And I don't even know that it's the confidence, but maybe even just more of this desire to reach a certain lifestyle is really what overtook you, it sounds like, to get to where you were trying to go. So
yeah, I think what you mentioned, the story you shared that you and Annie met over in a conference, it is sometimes like we all say, life happens for you, right? If I don't know what will happen if you don't meet Annie in that conference, or you didn't go to that conference. That's why I really, and like you said, like women as a group, they need to hear each other. Like I'm not trying to exclude there's, guys out there, but we tend to feel more guilt. I don't know whether there is something in our brain that's keep pumping, in women's brain, keep pumping guilt in our the feelings. So that's why you talk about making mistakes. I find I really, in the first year of after I quit, that's the main thing of my, the emotions I felt is guilt. I'm afraid of making a wrong decision. I'm afraid of choosing the wrong tenant, or choosing the wrong, employee. And it all happened. Like the employees that at the end, turn their back on us and stab us on the back. It all happened. And then tenants, that destroy the property. It all happened, but
Yeah.
all those is happened for us, because I find that
Right.
now I'm much better than picking the right tenant, picking the hire the right employee. If that mistake never happened, I won't be here to do bigger things. I'd be all scared, like, oh, how do I, but now I know, worst case is already happened.
Yeah.
That I know how to handle it now. So I have more confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I couldn't agree more that life doesn't happen to us, it happens for us. And I went through the same things, when I first got into it, and I had those horror stories too. And I was so scared. I was like, oh my gosh, what if I choose the wrong investment? What if we find the wrong tenants, the wrong property management? And we did all those things just like you did.
Yeah.
We did. I remember this one distinct property we underwrote, and then I did the spreadsheet, and then after we closed on the property, I looked back at the spreadsheet and I was like, oh no, I left off a 0 right here.
Oh my gosh.
It worked out okay. It worked out okay. But I was like, okay, never again. Can't do that again. Got to be extra careful here. And then every little thing, right? Tenant vandalism or bad property manager, like every little thing, you learn a little bit, and it makes you better, makes your business stronger.
Yeah, and make you stronger as well. I think that's kind of the core of your business, is the people who run it. And then if you are stronger, the challenges, the problems that come into your way, you have the face to say you will all pass, and then I will learn from it. It's really easy to say it. It's hard to do, but you just gradually build up your faith and your make yourself stronger.
So I'm curious, how did you, at the point when you quit your job to be more involved in the real estate stuff? I mean, let's back up a second, because, how did you know in the first place that real estate would be the vehicle to get you to this vision of financial freedom and being able to spend more time with your kids? How did you know it wasn't, stocks or other types of investment vehicles or side hustles or something like that? What was it about real estate that really drew you in?
Go back to the past. I didn't choose it. I was kind of forced to do it. My husband was investing before I met him in 2013. So he has some multifamily already. And then, after we got together, and I just feel like he has a full-time job, and he has to, communicate with property manager, and then all the the capital project, those things, and also tax filing, because I feel he's really not organized. So I started to, I think in 2014, I started to say, hey, let me help you file the tax. Not saying organize the reports for our accountant. And then I started to do that. And then later I was like, let me start to communicate with the property manager, because I really think they mark up so much and then this unit is vacant for too long, because I see, you see the problem there, you can't let it go. So I started to do that. And then in 2016, we bought a building together. Because right now, my husband and I are doing just the partner is my husband and I. So we are buying smaller multi-family. So in 2016, we bought a 25 unit. And then that's when I really embraced all the value add. Because in the first months, we did a 6-unit renovation. And then all at the same time, new appliance, new floor, everything. And then our account was just negative for that few months. I was really scared. And I think I doubted at that time. It's why do we do this? I'm not seeing, the savings in the account until I think almost 2 years after we see the value of the building doubled, because all the investment, all the value add we add in. That's I really see, how that whole cycle works. You buy a building and then maybe not managed so well. And then we started to put update the units and then get higher rent, and then the building valued higher, and that we can take the money out to buy new buildings. So I see the whole strategy works. That's the first time actually I have more confidence that this will work. Before that, kind of just I'm a property manager role. I just want to, handle tenants' requests and get things done. But then that's when I really took an investor perspective, say, oh, this is how it works. And now for the new projects, we usually do the underwriting and the pro forma first. So that's where I can see how this will change before we get into the deal. I think that's just by the things I experienced and the numbers. From that I learned, this is the right way to do it. And then the passive, I don't think for what we are doing right now is not passive, because we are actively managing it. I like the fact that I can, outside with my kids, I can just see an email coming and then process it, and then it's dealt with. I think that freedom, be able to work and anytime you want, and then have set up the network to help to support your business, is really fun for me. Feel powerful.
So how did you gain, what market was that in, the 25 unit?
That's in, so all our portfolio are in Canada, because that's where my husband come from. So that's why we are expanding there, and we are, it's all remotely managed.
How did you gain the confidence to buy a 25 unit? I'm always curious about that, because I was at a junction in my investing where I went from, small, multis, 2 units, or single family. And then I wanted to do large multifamily, and was that's kind of out of my reach, and then discovered passive investing and so on and so forth, but never really gained the confidence to buy something that was between the really large stuff and the small stuff. So, because it always seems like it's so risky. I don't know. It just seems like it's so much. Whereas because the bigger properties, you're buying a business, right? And it has a lot of teams in place, and it, the way it operates is more like a business. But with a 25 unit, it's kind of like buying a small business or owning a small business. And there's a lot of work that you have to do on your own. So how did you get comfortable around that?
Yeah, I agree. It's not 25. It's a tricky spot, because if you get to a bigger building, you can hire the property manager on site, and it's a established business. You attract more better employee as well. For 25, actually that one, when we bought it, we are in the position of buy a bigger building, but we didn't know what we are really want to buy yet, which market, because that 25 unit is the first building we had in that area. So it's not, we have no network there at all. Cliff's mom is the realtor, so she just sent those building, the listing to us. And then even at that time, I didn't know how to value the building. I don't know how much, whether it's a good deal or not. And then Cliff looked at it, said, based on the number and the price, it's just such a good deal. And I think I'm naive enough, or I just trust him enough. And I said, okay, let's do it. And then we calculate we need a down payment, and we need to, get the 75% loan. So we just started to kind of, I don't think we thought too much. I didn't know there's so much work to manage a 25 unit at that time. So just went on board, and I was at first our bank said they can do 75%. And at the end, because we are in the States, they only did 70%. And I have to, ask friends, ask, our contacts here to get some private loan to fill in that 5%. And I said, the first, when we did that 6 months, the 6 units, the valuation, I was no, this is not what I'm going to do. This is not what I want to do at all. But just kind of, I think at that point, what I want is just, I need to finish this. I can't, of course, we had lots of support from Cliff's mom. She's local there. But it's still struggling. I think what I thought at that time is just that I don't want this to hurt us. I didn't think too much about, how I wanted to be successful, all this portfolio growth. I didn't have big picture at that time, but just basically a phase that, I want to solve this problem. I think it will come to an end. And then until later, I see the whole picture. That's when I started to, realize I can repeat this.
We'll get back to our conversation with Minna in just a minute.
Have you been thinking about investing in real estate but aren't sure you have the time or the desire to manage the investment? Perhaps you're afraid, like we were, that you'll make the mistake of choosing the wrong market or the wrong team and lose your entire investment. Well, that's exactly why we created the Goodegg Investor Club. We do the work of identifying solid real estate investment opportunities in the best markets around the country and then partner with you to acquire these investments, and then we'll all share in the returns. We'll identify the growing markets, strong, experienced teams, and the solid deals. We do all the heavy lifting of managing the tenants and the renovations, and as a passive partner, you get to enjoy all the benefits of investing in real estate: monthly cash flow, long-term appreciation, and the ongoing tax benefits. When we first discovered passive investing through real estate syndications, we realized it fit perfectly into our busy lives. We could put our money to work for our families, work less, and get more time back in our days so that we could focus on what matters most and discover our true passion and purpose in life. We've now helped hundreds of people invest passively in real estate syndications and are seeing the positive impact it's had on their lives. We invite you to partner with us by joining the Goodegg Investor Club today so you can start putting your money to work for you and get more time back in your day, because we know that when people have more time in their days, they can do the true work they were intended to do, and the world will be a better place. To sign up for the Goodegg Investor Club, go to goodegginvestments.com/invest and we'll take it from there. That's goodegginvestments.com/invest.
And now, back to our chat with Minna Hu. So when you were doing that 6-unit renovation, was it you mostly handling it? Was Cliff involved? I mean, it sounds like it was a stressful time.
Cliff mom was helping a lot at that time. To be honest, at that time when we started 6-unit, it's kind of, she made a decision that I saw it in person. I know we have to renovate this. And then she just hired people and then did this. I'm more from the finance perspective to say, hey, how much we are spending and then what's our account look like. I didn't do that. That time I feel like I'm not involved too much because it happened really in, I think, 1 or 2 months, it all happened. And then Cliff's mom handled most of that, like hiring people and then going and check the stuff, whether it was done. Last year, we did about, in 1 month, there were like 5 or 6 units came in weekend. That's when I was like, repeat what that was done in the, when we just bought a building and then renovate that all. And I think when I took over that 25 unit, we took over the 25 unit, my concept is still, when people ask me, said, hey, I think we should paint. And my concept is, do I really need to paint? Can we rent out as it is? Later, I realized that's it's not a good strategy until we did some renovation and then we find the rent can go higher. That's when I started to really see that, when an apartment come vacant, just do it and then grow the rent.
And when you were, so for all the parents out there who are listening, who might be thinking, maybe I could do this too, but it sounds like a lot of work. So tell us, on a day-to-day basis, how much time does it take to manage this portfolio? Are you able to also spend time with your kids, or do you mostly focus on the business at this point?
Yeah. So when I quit in 2018, right? And then before that, it's I have a full-time job. My husband have a full-time job, and then before that, mainly it's because 2018 when I quit, Layson is only 3 months old, and most of that is with Nick, and we still was able to take him to Las Vegas, and then being caught by the security guard said, "You guys keep quiet, like your baby keep crying." And so which means that we still take him out for Lake Tahoe to Las Vegas, and then Disneyland, and then we're still taking out at weekends to the parks. It's just that I think because Nick goes to bed, like our kids goes to bed around 8, and after that we usually work. When we were having full time, we usually work 1 or 2 hours to see there's anything to process in the business. But I do feel the reason I think one thing that push us to quit is we notice that it's really like the turnaround for a decision is really long, because in the morning we get up and we need to go to work, and then we just grab whatever time we have to in the business, and sometimes the decision needs to take a long time because either we overlooked or we really don't have time. We tried our best. Yeah, so I think it's still come back to the beginning. The first question you ask is to find out what you want to focus, what can you outsource? Because, for example, right now we don't go to grocery store at all. We order Costco same day delivery. So that saves me after I quit the first month, I have to plan grocery shopping, and I have to take kids with me for the grocery shopping. So it usually takes 2 to 3 hours per week just to do that. And then until we discover the Costco delivery, and I was like, okay, we are not going to the grocery store anymore. So just to find the things that can get you a few extra hours every week and gradually become a pattern, and then just so you can put time in the important things, which is the business, like Cliff, of course, right now, his job, and then family. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like prioritization is so key, and people say all the time, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time. And we fall into that trap too, and we're like, we don't have enough time. But as Tony Robbins always talks about, it's not a lack of resources, it's a lack of resourcefulness, yes. Right? And so, it's like, how can we, find the time? And back when I was working full time too, it was like grocery delivery service, nanny, like, how can because this needs to be priority. Like, me finding a way out of my job needs to be a priority, and whatever it takes, like, I have to do. And so same thing, would put the kids down at 8, and then I would stay up and I would answer emails and whatnot on Bigger Pockets, and I would, network with people, and then get up the next morning, answer a few emails, and then I would, drive 2 hours to my job, and then I would, on my lunch, like, more, networking and emails and learning, consuming podcasts on my, commute. But it was like, if it's a priority to you, you will find the time and you will find a way to make it work. So I think, to anyone who's listening and sitting there telling themselves that they don't have enough time, there's time. You just need to reprioritize what's important to you. And if you really want to do this and you really want to make it happen, then you'll find the time. And, everyone has the same 24 hours to work with, from Oprah Winfrey to Zuckerberg to Annie and Minna and Julie, right? Like, we all have the same time, and it's a matter of like what you do with that time that really counts. So yeah.
I think like you said, we all fall in the trap, especially, I don't know, after we become a mom, first thing you fall into the trap is, I can do it all. I can, take care of the baby, still have a good career, and have time with my husband, and then, have fun organizing the party for the kids. Plan, you think you can do it all, and then you are just exhausted. Yeah. Once you don't do it all, you feel guilty. And then you are like, I can pile more into it, because I think if I'm strong enough, I can do it. But it's not. It's really look at what resource you have around you. I feel funny that when I was first, our nanny wasn't doing our laundry at first, and even ask her to do the laundry, I feel like a huge block for me, because like, she's already doing this for us. Should I ask? Maybe I can just do it myself.
I know.
But she's happy to do that, and then it saves us so much time to focus, like, so we can focus on the business and the kids, which is important to us.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
I think there's one last question that we wanted to ask you, and it's around your kids
Yeah.
and teaching your children about real estate investing or investing in general. What are some of the things that you might be sharing with them? I always love asking this because I'm curious, because I have 3 young kids. And so
Uh-huh.
I'm always interested to hear what other moms are doing to, get their kids into the business or teach them about what they're doing.
I think so far they are still young. They are 3 and 1.5. But I
Oh,
think
that's right.
starting
Yeah.
to teach by I one time Nick teach him the words money first. Like
Uh-huh.
you have to buy things with money, or because I forgot what occasion he mentioned something, and I said, "Oh, do you have money to buy it?" And he's like, "Money,
Uh-huh.
yes." And he's like pretending to take something out of his pocket
Yeah.
But we do have plan to. I think the first thing we want to get him to work for us in the business. I was joking with my husband. I think when Nick started to know how to use a scanner, I'm gonna hire him to scan the flyers for us, so that he knows that it is hard working. It's not it's the born with all these assets.
Yeah.
The skills
Yeah.
you need to learn to. And then I think the mindset is really important. We have some books that in our Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I think those things to get them started to see that's possible is what we want to do with them.
Yeah. I started talking with my kids about real estate investing since they were 4, 3, and 1. And now they're 8, 7, and 4. And they you ask them a question about, if I hand them $100 and you ask them, what do they want to do with that $100? Immediately, first thing without hesitation is, I want to invest it with you, mommy. First thing, because for the last 4 years, that's all I've been talking about.
Yeah.
So I think the important thing to remember for folks is, even if they're 3 or 4, they're absorbing this information, and and when they grow up like that, that's all they know. It becomes second nature for them to understand, about investing and how money works and finances and stuff. I mean, I don't know. I have this conspiracy theory that there's a reason why they don't teach us about finances in school, is because they want to hold us down. And I don't want to let my kids grow up without that knowledge. And that's part of why we do what we do here at Investing for Good on our podcast and in our business at Goodegg Investments. It's because we want, to teach the next generation. We want to teach the families now, so that the next generation is better prepared for their future as they move forward. So
I think lead by example, like you said, tell them what you do, and then explain to them, how this works, and then they see you in action every day as well, so that they will be influenced by that and knowing, this is one way out.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. So let's roll into our Goodegg, or I'm sorry, I always do this, our Investing for Good impact round. I always get the two mixed up. Okay. So we're going to ask 3 questions. The first one is around investing in yourself. So what is one way that your investments are helping you to live a better and more freer life, perhaps?
For me, I have to say that's hiring the business coach, our future coach, Travel. When I just started the business, the first 3 months was like a hell. I don't meet people. I feel anxious every day until I say, I need somebody to show me how this need to be done. And then I find our coach, and then we've been working together for almost a year. Like March will be our first year anniversary. My husband has changed, fundamental change in me. And then even one time I was like, I want to take a break, maybe for 1 or 2 months, that see, whether I can watch more YouTube video. My husband was freaking out. I was like, no, that worries me. Please continue your coach. So this is he saw lots of change in me, how I manage my emotion, how I make business decisions, how I interact with people. I think that's those things, like business can fail, and then the economy can change, but those things I don't think anybody can take it away from me. So it goes with me. So I think that's the number one investment I've been doing for myself. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that you said it that way because, I think so often people think, well, I don't want to spend that much money on a coach, right? Like even that sentence right there, I don't want to spend that much money on a coach, right? And when you reframe that and you realize that you're actually investing that money in yourself, now learning knowledge, that could have taken you years to learn, but now you're learning it on every single phone call, and the power of that and something can never be taken away from you. Something that Annie and I value very highly as well. We have, our mutual coach that we work with, and we have many other coaches that we work with as well. But I think that, if you're someone who's wanting to get into this space, hiring a coach for 1 or 2 or 3 different aspects of what you're trying to achieve is so powerful, so powerful. So I love that you brought that up and you feel like that's something that you're investing for you in yourself, because I think so often we reframe it and think of it a different way. So, okay. So second question is investing in others. So what is one hack or little nugget of information that you might be able to share with any of the listeners that could help them sort of catapult their investing journey, or could be any kind of, some little secret that you might want to share?
I keep a vision journal and also like vision brag journal that I started to do this year. I print out pictures. It actually goes back to what you say, Julie said, live an intentional life, because I want to be able to see that picture every day. So I grabbed earlier this year, I print out pictures. I got this like an album from the store, and then it has you can put picture in the left and you write few words in the right. I put I think maybe 20 or 30 pictures in that, all the aspects like family, business, travel, like relation with my husband, invest in myself, those things there. And I write down, what does that mean? So I go back and then see it. I also use a Chinese way to track the progress, because they kind of write, you use like a line to say,
like
I did this once. That. So Chinese has a way, it's like a letter is 5, but it takes less space. So I do that. I go there almost every day to, I have one, for example, I want to have a morning with Zen, which means I get up early and then have a few hours with myself and do whatever I want to do. So I go there every morning. I get up early. I put the mark it down. I think that gives me the clear vision of what I want to do. And also when I feel down, I know that I can use that as a way to, connect to that vision again and give me more energy.
I love that. And so is that something that you do every day? Like, do you work on this vision journal, or is it just something you created and then every day you go look at different pages or whatever you feel like you need to look at?
Yeah, I'm still, I think most of the things are done at early in the beginning of the year. And then I maybe, for example, in February, I had a new vision that the things I want to do, like celebrate with wins. So I put in many is done at the beginning, and then I mark it the progress every day.
Got it. Well, okay. I love that. I'm going to have to start doing that. I try to write in a journal and I just get so uninspired and then I don't do it. And then I go write, I'm like, oh, let me go write in my journal. And I look back and it's like, oh, I haven't written in here for a year. Okay. But yeah, regular journals don't do it for me, but I love, incorporating photos because imagery is such a powerful way to, visualize what you want, and then also continuing to imagine that visual in your mind and making it a reality. So it's like having a vision board with all these different things that you're constantly looking at, but having a side to write about that too. I love that. So
I love that. And I do something similar, but it's digital. So I have, it's called a mind movie, and it's set to music. And so it's got photos of me and Julie, photos of me and my family, and photos of places I've never been that I want to go. And I try to watch it twice a day, once in the morning, once at night. And it just inspires me and reminds me why we're doing this. In those moments where you're challenged or you fall down or something doesn't go your way, you remember oh yeah, this is why I'm doing this. So I love that. That's so powerful.
Yeah, I think it makes you
Yeah.
feel that it's already happened by looking at the picture or movie, and then you can manifest, and then it will become a reality.
Totally.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love that. Okay, last question is investing in the world. So what is one way that your investments are helping to make the world a better place?
Yeah. Right now, I think because Cliff and I are moving back to Canada this year,
Oh,
the
okay.
major reason is that because we want to contribute back to the community, that by using meetups or groups that we want to focus on business development and self growth and also investing, because those are what like the major part of our life, and we want to be able to give people that opportunity. Yeah, that's why we want to, go to the community that we are investing. And then for now, I think what I do every day is just for every interaction I have with people, try to be the best of myself. And then if I can, use I have a purpose is to live an inspiring life and use my life to inspire others, because I want to be able to do it, and then use my story to inspire others. And that just reflect to every interaction I have with other people. I want to be able to have some ripple effect that either pointing them to a good book or point them to a good video that can help to deal with their challenge.
Yeah. Well, you've certainly inspired us today, and I'm sure that many of our listeners will be inspired by your story as well. Minna, I'm sure many will want to connect with you or learn more. So what's the best place that our listeners can go to learn more about you?
For myself, you can just search my name in LinkedIn, and then you will see me. And then we have our company is called Blue Planet Properties, and then our website, we can add to the notes. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, we'll link to all of that in the show notes for sure, so that people can connect with you and hear more about all that you're doing. Minna Hu, real estate investor and mom of two. Minna, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you. Thank you both. I enjoyed the conversation. I'm happy to be able to share what I do.
You've been listening to Investing for Good, the #1 podcast for people like you who are investing to build a legacy for their families, create a meaningful and intentional life by design, and impact the world around them. For more resources, check out goodegginvestments.com/podcast. And be sure to join the Investing for Good Facebook community. And don't forget to subscribe and give us a 5-star review so we can continue to bring you amazing new conversations every week. Until next time, keep investing for good.